let's talk a little bit more about your investments across Africa. We spent some time talking about your business in Egypt, but where else do you see opportunity today?
Still, Africa enjoys four main factors that are there and have been at play. One, you have a resource-driven economies that are doing better as a result of higher oil prices, higher metals in general, backed by a strong global growth. Number two, you have better governance across the board. Number three, you have a reverse brain drain. And then so those dynamics are still fulfilling, are still pushing ahead. I am personally very fond of a number of countries that I have investments in. Certainly going geographically, Morocco, Ghana, Mozambique, if they can get their acts together. Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia for sure, and then Egypt for sure. Egypt is definitely a star among those. So in general, those countries are countries that we are. Nigeria, obviously, you can't ignore by virtue of size. Recently did not do very well as a result of the currency issues, but getting out of those problems. So this is the pool of countries that I personally follow closely and have investments in.
And sir, you've also done business in Sudan for quite a while. Relations between Sudan and Egypt have not always gone well. How difficult does that make doing business there?
Sudan is a fair place, which is, you can't say that about all countries. At the end, they do the right thing. So I have two very good investments in Sudan, not very large by Qalaa Holdings, because we have to abide by restrictions that are there. So there are certain rules regarding how much you can invest. So those rules still apply, and we will always be in compliance of those rules. But I like Sudan.
And sir, you mentioned just the sheer resources in Africa that make it a compelling investment area. It's no secret that Chinese investors, big firms from China, have been doing business across Africa. Does that in some ways crowd out the investment opportunities? Does it make it more difficult to compete against those firms?
Absolutely. There is no two ways about it. And I can give you a very clear story. We were investors in Rift Valley Rail, and out of the blue came in a very big Chinese firms that build a standard gauge. Obviously, the Kenyan government was very happy for this to be built, but that crowding out took place, and it caused a lot of problems for Rift Valley Rail.
And what about the U.S. doing business? What have you encountered there? We talk a lot about the changes President Trump has initiated in his policies towards the Middle East. Any changes you've seen in Africa specifically that would affect the business environment?
I did not see any change as far as U.S. companies in general are risk averse, and they'd rather come at a later point in time. I don't see at this point in time a lot of U.S. companies doing business in Africa. Very, very, very few, with the exception maybe of Caterpillar. I rarely see, and GE obviously. But apart from that, compared to Chinese, no. I think Chinese take a much higher risk and are extremely avant-garde. Obviously, they are supported by the state. Many of those companies are state-owned. But so that's my take on it.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.